Hello and welcome back to another watch party. Welcome everyone. It has been a minute, um, and a lot has happened in this period of time that I have not been here. Um, we have missed 4 games of basketball that I have not watched, and we've only won one of those games. That was against the we beat the Lakers, which I mean was such a sweet win. But then the 3 losses, the Portland loss, the Clippers loss, and the Knicks loss. Thank God I was not doing the watch party because your eardrums would have been destroyed. I would have absolutely gone off. Well, I did. You just weren't there to witness it. Um, it it was just I mean, it's just been a calamity. This team in the final quarters, man. What do we think of Jack's ACL injury? I may do a video about that actually, but obviously it's a horrific injury to have. It puts you on the side for a whole year. Jack had a bit of time where he was missing he missed the final series because of injury, and obviously he would have been wanting to work his way back into the 22, and now obviously, I mean, he's out for the year. So if that doesn't scream we're going to win a premiership and he's going to be heartbroken, then I don't know what does. Um, why did I become a Nets fan? Um, I actually have no idea. I actually cannot remember, and God, do I wish that I was watching a different franchise at the moment. There actually was a bit of time in there um, where I was supporting Orlando. Don't even understand how that happened. But that was in a period of time between like 2015 and 2018 when the team was dog water, and basically still has been until this year, really. So, um, yeah, we are missing Dayron still, but there are some interesting reports today that Ben Simmons will be back at the start of next week, which is, I don't know if that's exciting or what. I'm not getting my hopes up because he could easily be out just as quickly as he re-enters the team. So I don't know. It's going to be a weird one watching Ben Simmons play basketball because I can't remember the last time. You probably have to go back to early November to see what a Ben Simmons basketball product looked or looks like. But look, the talking point for today, or the big talking point, is the fourth quarters. Now, I don't have any stats or anything prepared, but I do have, not for you, but I do have them sitting in my Twitter bookmarks. The Nets offense in the final 5 minutes of each of their last 2 losses, so 10 minutes total, we are 2 of 20 from the field. That is a total of 10%. And we have only taken 2 free throws in that time. We've had more turnovers than free throws, and we've only had 6 total points in 10 minutes of basketball in the final 5 minutes. We also have a negative 25.6 fourth quarter net rating over the last 7 games. So that stretches back to the win that we had versus OKC. We have a 99 offensive rating and a 124.5 defensive rating. That is, the worst defensive mark in the league and probably the worst offensive mark in the league. So it's no surprise that we just cannot close games out for dear life. So that's a big concern, of course, because every single game, it's like JV telling us that the team will turn things around, but you're just seeing the same method, the same methodical approach every single game, and it just, I mean, we say it every game. You can't go into the next game thinking that if you do the same thing over and over again, it's going to eventually work itself out. You need to try something different. You need to break the tide. Or you need to change the tide. I don't really know what we're doing. We really need to stagger minutes differently because Cam Thomas is entering third quarters at about the 4-minute mark, 5-minute mark, and he'll exit the game at about the 8-minute mark because he needs a break. He can't go all the way to the finish line without getting a rest. And obviously, it's going to impact his performance. The problem with that is the 6-minute mark or the 8-minute mark when he sometimes will check out to like the 3-minute mark when he re-enters. That period of time in between is so vital, and that is where the leads fall apart. And then obviously by the time he re-enters the game is over. Or the momentum is completely shifted, and you've basically made the change too late. We need to see Cam Thomas starting third quarters. We need to see him exit for maybe the back end of the third quarter so then he can play nearly the entirety of the fourth. That's the same with Lonnie Walker. I don't know what the hell's going on with his minutes, because he's supposedly been on a minutes restriction for 7 games, and in the last couple of games, we've needed a bit of shot creation down the stretch, and this guy's on the bench because he made a defensive mistake. Like, let's hold the same players or players to the same account. Those in chat, welcome. Want to ask you something since it's about a Nets player. I'm a Heat fan and we're targeting Sharp. Sharp is not going anywhere. I can tell you that right now, because if anything, the other center that will leave is Claxton. If anything, because I think Sharp is a long-term piece. I cannot see. I can't see Miami getting. If you're going to get any one of our players, it'll be Dorian Finney-Smith or Royce O'Neal. I think you got the guard situation sorted out with Rozier, but the wing rotation is a little bit. It's a bit of an interesting watch with the Heat, because you've got shooters. You don't really have any 3 and D on your team. Like Jimmy Butler will play the 4, Caleb Martin sometimes, but he's not necessarily consistent. So you've got to find someone that does a little bit of both. And Royce and Dorian probably are the 2 guys that, well, would make sense. But God, I don't know if this is a good or a bad idea watching this game, because I mean the Minnesota Timberwolves won yesterday, so we have gotten an extra day of rest. You will see if I get rid of the injury report and I show you the starting lineups, you're going to be very, very annoyed, because, well, that's their starting lineup and it's pretty scary. McDaniels is probably going to clamp Bridges. And then you've got Karl Anthony Towns, who scored fucking... How much did he score? 62? He scored 43 and a half. Mate, he'll score 43 paint points by himself. With our front court at the moment, we've got, well, Finney-Smith at the 4, so I think he'll pick up Towns. And then, God, Claxton is going to get dominated by Gobert. I remember last year this exact matchup in Minnesota, and Gobert was absolutely torching. Yet we still won that game, I think, because Bridges clutched up down the stretch. I think we won. We won the game on the final possession, where Minnesota missed the shot, and obviously the win was ours. But this is our starting 5, and I have not had to change the graphic for God knows how long, because we keep starting the same lineup. And it just baffles me. I'm like, how do you keep playing the same lineup? I guess the slight positive thing is that Ant has been off the past 3 games. Well, it doesn't really make a difference, because, I mean, even if we stop Anthony Edwards, you've got like 15 other players to worry about, and then you've got some role player that no one's ever heard of that's bound to score 25 against us, because that always seems to happen. But yeah, so this is a game we just need to win every game. I'm not implying that the season isn't over, because it pretty much is. Well, that being said, we're like a couple games out of the play-in, so if you really want us to be in the play-in, well then sure. I mean, the more games we win, the better, because the pick strength is lessened. I think, well, change needs to happen, and change is good. I don't know why Spencer keeps starting, especially when it's pretty clear, you know, it's like our games sometimes are dictated by the way he performs, the way he carries himself, and he has not really carried himself in the way that is acceptable for any NBA player, regardless of your situation. You don't throw in the towel, and if you do, you should be not seeing the court at all. This guy doesn't even practice in shoot-around. He just sits on the bench and watches people do it. So, look, I don't know if that's an indictment of, well, the way he's been carrying himself, but it's not like he's getting punished for it, so he might as well keep doing what he's doing. I just don't really understand why we run the same thing, but we're about to kick things off with this, after a week of absence by me, I'm refreshed and ready to go. Hopefully the Nets are too. But we know all too well we could have a 25-point lead at three-quarter time, and even still we can get outscored by 26. Just watch the Clippers game and you'll have all the proof you need. So we're underway. Claxton wins the jump ball. Dinwiddie chases it up, and we are underway for a very important game. A very important game. Claxton's looking for a pass, and he's going to hand it off to Bridges, who scored 7 threes the other night. Claxton into the paint. He's got Gobert on him. He gets one up and scores over the top, and we're on the board. 2 early points for Claxton, and the Nets will kick things off with the lead. So Edwards will hand it to McDaniels, who's got the throw activated, no braids. It's Karl Anthony Towns out to Conley up top. The pass under the basket to Gobert. He's going to absolutely annihilate, but Claxton sends that shit out of there. Gobert gets it back. The pass to Conley. He's given a bit of space, but he gets into the paint. The pass to Gobert with the right hand. He scores as the shot clock expires, and I don't think that's a part of his arsenal, but he made it work. And the Timberwolves, I mean, pretty shit possession to start things off, but you know it's your day if Gobert floaters are going down. Dinwiddie up top. He didn't shoot the 3. He passed it to Claxton. Gets into the paint. Another hook shot. Gets the roll again. And we've got 4 early points from Claxton. As we know all too well, even though we start games well in Claxton, his performance, what is that 3? Bro, wide open 3. No communication on the pick and roll. It was the simplest action to cover, and we still didn't know how to do it. Claxton's performance correlates with ours. He starts games well. He ends up with a double-double when it's all said and done, but he only gets like 2 points and an assist when everything's all said and done. That was the worst floater I've ever seen by Bridges, and now McDaniels the other way will give it to Gobert in the post. He's got DFS on him. He's going to back him down. Gobert will turn, get one up, and he doesn't even hit the rim. So fair to say that it's a bit of a poor start by a couple players. Dinwiddie gets that shit sent out of there. I don't know why he doesn't accelerate to the rim all in one motion. He fucking hesitates, and it's so easy to read. Edwards to the corner for McDaniels. The drive. Pull up 2. That rattles out the rebound. Claxton, and he'll bounce it to Cam Johnson, who started the game on a tear. He pulls up here and gets the soft bounce off the rim, and the Nets have the lead back at 6-5, early going first quarter. 2 minutes 30 elapsed. Good cut by McDaniels, but Johnson is able to send him back out. It's Edwards now, one-on-one with Dinwiddie. The 3 over the top is short. The rebound by Cam Johnson, and he will need to get it past half court. He does. Finney Smith is going to hand it to Claxton at the top of the key. Dinwiddie above the break. Will not shoot the 3. The screen will be used by DFS, or for DFS. He's got an open 3 now, Doe, and he has just been shooting it abysmally in the month of January. He's shooting at like 21% from 3, which is absolutely diabolical, especially if you're starting. Edwards the drive, gets into the paint, lost the ball. Bridges will push the pace. We've got the numbers. Johnson open 3 on the wing. He's got to hit those, and he does. And that is a fast break possession that we weren't capitalizing on nearly enough in the previous game that we just played. So, decent enough start with 4 of 7. The Timberwolves are 2 of 6. Edwards the spin. He had it knocked away. He got it back, and he scored with the right hand. And it's 9-7. So, 4 minutes or so have gone. Dinwiddie gets it to Bridges on the wing. And he's going to partially use that Claxton screen. He pulls up in the mid-range, and that was a smooth-looking J on the baseline. And so, really good start. Another cut by McDaniels in the early offense is cut off. Good extra pass. Gobert the push shot. That was misdirected. And Johnson with the rebound, and he's got to get it to Bridges. And Bridges will get into early offense. He goes down the middle, threw one up, and he was fouled by Conley. And it's going to be 2 free throws. I like that early offense by Mikal. Saw that Gobert wasn't anchoring the paint. And it will be 2 free throws for Mikal Bridges in the early going. Our first free throws of the game. And this is something that we haven't seen enough in recent memory. The first free throw for Mikal is good. And he gets it up to 5, the lead. Those in chat who have just joined us, welcome. So Mikal scored 36 the other night, but he missed his last 3 threes after making 7 of his first 10. It is 13-7. And we've got 7.5 to play in this opening quarter. It's Karl Anthony Towns to McDaniels, who will get it by the half-court line. Oh! It was an 8-second violation. They took their jolly old time getting it across halfway, and they got pinged for it, and the referees were on guard. So a turnover forced out of something that really shouldn't be occurring. Claxton, top of the key, will hand it off to Johnson, who drives. The lob, Claxton the finish. It's 15-7. That was a well-worked play. Cam Johnson got ahead of his defender with that off-ball play, and then obviously was able to draw Gobert, flip it up to Claxton, and he was able to get it done. Gobert tries to hammer it down. It's a foul on Claxton. That is a smart foul to concede. It'll be Gobert shooting a couple, and he's been, well, pretty key in the opening stages for the Timberwolves. Such an important piece, and that's why they probably, well, you look last year at how poorly they were playing in the early going, and it was majorly because Gobert looked a shadow of his former self. But as the Timberwolves have played much better this season, Gobert has gotten back to his best. He makes the first free throw here. So they find themselves in an early 8-point hole. But the Nets have, done a pretty good job of forcing the shots that they want to force. There's not been too many 3-pointers. There's been quite a few mid-ranges being attempted, and some of those by Gobert. So that's something that we definitely need to look to continue doing and cut those outlets off where they may be able to score at will. Dinwiddie up top is going to drive on Conley. Why is he shooting a mid-range? And he thought he was fouled. It's going to be a 2-pointer in the mid-range. He actually rattled that one in. So we're doing pretty well offensively, and it's supplementing what we're doing on defense. Here's Towns on the wing. He's going to back down Finney-Smith. I expect the help to arrive. The turn by Towns, the help defense by Claxton, and it's going to be a goaltend, I think. I think he was a little bit late. Yeah. So it hit the backboard first. There was a goaltend. It wasn't one of those ones where it's already on the way down. It's the one where it hits the backboard first. So nearly at the halfway stage, the Nets have had the lead most of the first quarter. Bridges shoots another mid-range uncontested. Those ones have got to go down. When you got an open look like that, oppositions are definitely always capitalizing, and we never seem to be able to do that. Johnson is guarding Gobert in the paint. Claxton is on the perimeter, and Dinwiddie was guarding the Edwards drive, in which he capitalized, and it's down to 4. Dinwiddie out to Finney-Smith, who will get it back to Dinwiddie up top. He's got Edwards guarding him. The screen and the switch, it's Towns on Dinwiddie. Please drive. Shoots a 3 instead, and misses badly. And he thought he was hit on the arm, but we don't get calls. Edwards the pull-up 3, and that's hit. So just an absolutely rubbish bit of shot selection by Spencer Dinwiddie is punished on the other side by Minnesota, and it is very, very clearly starting to shift into the Timberwolves' favor. So a 7-0 run, 7-0 run has cut the lead to 1, and we have our first box score check of the day. And Cam Thomas is the guy that I put in the spotlight. But obviously, if he doesn't get the opportunity to be in the spotlight, well, then it's no good. And what's the point? You can see Edwards has got 7 to open. The Nets have gotten 6 out of Clax and 5 out of Cam Johnson, 4 to Bridges, and Dinwiddie's got 2 points as well. This is what the Minnesota breakdown looks like. Edwards has made 3 of his 4. Overall, they're shooting 6 of 11 from the field, and well, the 3-pointers are pretty good. They've looked after the basketball, so that is why they're in the position they're in. Barely trailing us. The Nets are shooting the ball better, though. 7 of 12. Made 1 less 3-pointer, but Clax has gotten off to a really positive start. I think the key is that he doesn't get in foul trouble, because him in foul trouble and with us having no backup bigs, I mean, that's like a 30-point, 20-rebound Gobert game written all over it. Cam Johnson has started well. He had a really good game the other day, but obviously fell asleep down the stretch. It looks like all the G League players have been called up. So Keon Johnson, Giles, Clowney, Wilson, they are all available. Whitehead, Sharp, and Simmons, of course, are all out injured. But not a bad start, I guess. The defense was good the other day to open against the Knicks, but it's not looking great today. And these are one of the nightmare matchups that you look on the schedule and you're like, well, we are going to get absolutely cooked. So here's hoping, man, that we actually find a way. We've got to find a way today. So we've looked after the basketball early, which is one positive. That's one way you can control the game. But the defense is the thing that we really need to get right, and also not allow chuck-ups by Spencer Dinwiddie, because he's just been throwing too many up. If you want to shoot those bullshit 3-pointers, you get Cam Thomas in the game, which he is in the game. They've taken off Spencer, so DSJ and Cam in, and Johnson to the bench alongside Spencer Dinwiddie. It is Thomas picked up by McDaniels, so the respect by Minnesota to put their best defender on him. But another turnover, it is that simple. Edwards the pull-up, and he is short. So, Bridges with the board. There's been mixed results with Cam getting blitzed. He's been able to find his way through sometimes. Oh my god, Dennis is blowing fucking wide open layups. Seriously. Got his own miss twice and missed both times. It's Cam Thomas on Naz Reid. Moves through. Dennis, I think that was intended for Claxton. Clax will get it and use the left hand and score the nice little push shot. So Clax has got 8. He's leading the way for the Nets. And I really want to see this backcourt rotation a lot more, because I think the results with DSJ and Cam are far better than CJ and Spencer Dinwiddie. Conley lost it momentarily. They're going to look to feed Gobert in the post again, I would imagine, but we've got to try to deny it. That is such an easy cut, and Cam Thomas is responsible for allowing that one. McDaniels, too easy. And we surely cannot say that that is the right matchup, because he's going to get cooked. Cam Thomas. Bridges does not make the 3-pointer, and I'm not liking those threes. That being said, Bridges was knocking those down at will the other day. Edwards the spin, lost the ball, was able to recover, and now he'll drive. Claxton was able to steal it. And we have to work this out, man. Dennis, Bridges early 3. That is so badly off. It's unbelievable. Reid is going to back down Doe. No other Timberwolves has touched the basketball. He lost the ball. Dennis read the pass but couldn't get the ball. Minnesota still have it despite it being so disjointed. Conley chucks up a 3. Gobert and Oh, come on. How is that a foul? Just so many opportunities to actually get a bucket, and we just choke it. Stop shooting threes in transition. Actually take it in. So Clax will go to the bench. These are going to be the interesting minutes because no backup big. We're playing Doe at the 5, Royce at the 4. Bridges read the pass, and O'Neal will get the steal. Picks up his dribble. Finney Smith didn't even... What a half-assed drive. He didn't even take it in. Dennis actually tries the drive and was not fouled. It's good defense by Cat. And now Alexander Walker to Reed. Pull up 3. That is badly off. And a rebound by Cam Thomas. So the offense has gone cold for both teams, it feels. Thomas into the paint. Oh, that's an excellent shifting of hands. And he gets it back up to 3. A good score over Karl Anderson. And we're in the final 3 minutes of this first quarter. And even with the Nets falling off a little bit offensively, we have found a way to keep him at an arm's length. But Karl Anthony Towns ties the game at 21 with another 3-point make. And it is Dennis to Finney Smith, who for some reason took a dribble. He had the space to shoot it. O'Neal bridges the 3. Yes! And the response was needed, and that'll be his first 3-pointer of the game. And he's attempted a few of them. Karl Anderson on the outside. I like this matchup for Cam Thomas. Karl Anderson guarding a very slow... Karl Anderson. Did I just say Karl Anderson twice? I think I did. Anyway, a good response by the Timberwolves. They scored it off the window. It is down a 1, and Thomas will get into the paint. He is Doe wide open. These he has to hit. And he gets the bounce, and finally one goes down for Dorian Finney-Smith, a 4-point lead. And look, I think Minnesota would be happy to allow those, given the terrible shooting clip from the perimeter. That has to be a charge, and it's well taken by Dennis. I can't recall the last time a net actually put their body on the line and was able to draw a charge the way Dennis Smith just did. And we will have the ball going the other way. So, 27-23 and a timeout called with 1:30 to play. And it's been a decent enough start, I guess you could say. Let's actually have a look at the box score yet again. If you are enjoying the stream, by the way, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new. There's also a donation button if you want me to feel a little bit of consolation for putting myself through this pain. That's always an option as well. We do go back to the box score. Clax has started really well offensively, and I need to see this assertiveness the whole game because far too often we see players start well and then they just piss off for the rest of the game. It was the same with Cam Johnson. I don't know why he was off the court for so long when it was his best shooting performance of the game, or of this stretch where we've been severely lacking production from him. Cam Johnson has 5. Finney Smith hit his first, has hit one of his first 2 threes. And Mikal Bridges has scored 7. He's got 2 dimes. He's leading the way in that regard. And he's also got 2 steals. Really good signs. Only the 1 turnover to Cam Thomas. The team is shooting very, very well from the field and from 3. I would like to see a few more free throws being converted or attempted at least. And then from a Minnesota standpoint, Karl Anthony Towns has not missed. Gobert has missed a few. Anthony Edwards has got 7. And overall, they're shooting 9 of 17. So they're actually shooting basically identical splits to us. It's just we've taken a couple of extra shots on the back of us being able to force turnover. 4 turnovers for Minnesota, 1 for the Nets. So that is really where the difference is right now. Aside from that, there is nothing that separates these two teams. Dennis has been pretty good with a couple of rebounds and a dime. Both offensive rebounds, may I add. But they both led to misses. So we could have had a few more points on the board if he could convert. So yeah, pretty good stuff to start things off for us. This is a quarter which I'm pretty happy with. We've kept him at an arm's length. Every time we've needed to respond, we have. There have been a few open shots, a couple of defensive breakdowns, but I think those are you see those every so often. Like that's not uncommon, I guess, for any franchise really. There's going to be mistakes. You've just got to make sure you limit the amount. Now, this is interesting because usually Mikal Bridges. Hold on, Cam Thomas. Why did he just throw it to Edwards, man? Such an easy read for Ant Edwards as well. They cut Cam Thomas off at the source, and unfortunately, a second turnover for the Nets. Edwards, that's a tough shot, and he was fouled. But Royce O'Neal wants a challenge, and he is telling JV to do it, and you already know JV probably won't. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh, that is all clean. That is clean as a whistle, bro. We're challenging? We have to challenge that shit. Yep, and we're doing it. It's pretty simple. That couldn't have been cleaner of a swipe, and that is such a bad miss that I think we get possession as well following this timeout. There is absolutely nothing that could possibly favor Minnesota in this scenario. We've had to use an exhausted timeout, but it is a timeout that when you can prevent 2 points, you've just got to call those, irrespective of how you want to manage your timeouts. What was I saying before? Oh yeah. So interestingly enough, JV would usually bring on Lonnie Walker at the start of the second quarter. But for some reason, and I don't know if this is a minor alteration that may dictate where the minutes are allocated and when Mikal returns in the second quarter, Lonnie Walker is in the game already. Lonnie Walker's in the game. Mikal's gone to the bench. So we're making that move fractionally earlier, right before the the quarter time break. So he's getting this 2-minute rest. He's also getting the quarter time break. You could see Mikal return 1 or 2 minutes earlier than he usually does, maybe 3 minutes earlier. And we can afford, or we could really benefit with an extra 3 minutes of Mikal Bridges, especially if on the defensive side he's going to do some work like he has been doing today. That's a really good stop by Royce O'Neal as well. I feel like we will have the lead until the fourth again. We've got this as long as we're up 80 at the start of the fourth. You're damn right about that. It is very well positioned for what has been happening every game to happen again. A jump ball, that is a bit bullshit though. How is that not our ball? So we're going to have to win the jump ball in order for us to reap the full benefit of this possession. Claxton is back in. I don't know if he can participate in the jump ball or not. It is 27-23 in this opening quarter. And the Nets have led basically the majority of the way. It's Claxton v. Towns. Towns wins it, so we're going to have to do what we did the previous possession. Get this stop. Walker guarding Anderson on the outside. Slow-mo gets into the paint. Had the man in the air. Walker fouled. Claxton was there for the help. And that's a dumb foul to give away. And that's exactly what Karl Anderson can do. It looks like everything slows down. That is just an incredibly poor swipe by Lonnie Walker when the help was there. So those are 2 points that you could have easily avoided giving away, but yet we are giving them away. And so Anderson at the free throw line makes the first one with a very awkward looking shooting stroke. So the second by Karl Anderson is well short. Got to get the board. Claxton does, and the Nets can reinforce their lead. The end of this first quarter with a bucket here. DSJ, there's a 2-for-1 opportunity as well. Dennis, please pass it to Lonnie or Cam. Cam's in the corner. They give it to Lonnie, who drives, shoots, and scores. Created the separation on Cat, and that was a well-worked-out sequence by Lonnie Walker. It's now Towns who will shoot to try capitalize on that 2-for-1, and it actually goes, well, falls flat. So the three-pointer was short, and the Nets will basically be allowed to chew up the entire 24 seconds and not allow Minnesota to get one up at the other end if they use the clock correctly. Dennis will give it to Thomas. Thomas will get into the paint. He'll shoot with the right hand, and he'll get the bounce off the rim. They've got 6 seconds to work with here, Minnesota, and they can get a shot up. It's Edwards, the pull-up three. He lost Cam Thomas, but the three was badly off to the right. And that is the first quarter all said and done, and the Nets have a nice 7-point lead. And look, this has been a common trend of the last handful of games. Even though we've been losing, the starts have been much, much better. I believe until we played the Lakers, there was like a 5 or 6 game stretch where we didn't concede more than 25 points in an opening quarter. And that is, well, that trend's continued into this game. We lead by 7. But obviously the work does not stop here. We have to keep going. And we can play 46 minutes, but if you don't play the full 48, you could well and truly be getting or feeling the punishment for it. Cam Thomas has 4 points. He's got a rebound and a dime, but he also has the 2 turnovers. So a couple of wayward passes where he sort of gets stuck in a certain position, and the way out is read well by Minnesota. So that's where the 2 turnovers have come from. But overall, we're shooting the ball well. I would like to see us, well, we're attacking the basket a good amount, but I would like to see a few free throws for all our work. Clax is leading the way with 8 points, 7 to Mikal, 5 to Cam Johnson, and then we've got those 6 bench points. So Lonnie and CT will have a big role to play. For Minnesota, 7 to Towns, 7 to Edwards. He started well, but he's missed his last 3, and he's also had 3 turnovers. So not great for your highest usage player. And they're shooting under 50% from the field. The 3-pointers have dried up a little bit in the last few minutes, and they've only been to the free throw line 4 times. So 4 turnovers, and they haven't really scored in the last few minutes, and we've been able to capitalize. So I don't really know what they're going to get out of their bench outside of the 3 players they've already played. I don't know if there's certain players that get minutes out of those 3. Outside of those 3, maybe Shake Milton, who tortures us all the time. Troy Brown maybe could be an option. I'm not 100% sure, though. But a good first quarter. Not really much else you could ask for from that first quarter. So we've got a long way to go in this one. And the tide can turn, relatively quickly. So Bridges still on the bench. He did exit the first quarter a little bit earlier. He usually plays the entire first quarter, so an interesting sort of watch in terms of when he returns to the game. But we've got Dennis, Lonnie, Royce, CT, and Claxton. So 4 of our bench plus 1 of our starters. No Trenton Watford yet. Sometimes he plays backup 5, but I think that'll be matchup based. So what we did in the first quarter needs to continue. It really is that simple, but inconsistency is one of our biggest issues. Jordan McLaughlin is in, so we were just talking about who are they going to go with in terms of their bench unit, and they've gone a little bit deeper and are going to see some McLaughlin minutes. Anderson the kick out to Towns, who's playing with the bench. Naz Reid the kick out to McLaughlin, who blows by O'Neal. That is way, way, way too easy. But that is Royce O'Neal perimeter defense for you. He just allows those blow-bys way, way too easily. It's Thomas to Dennis. Good move. And then he lost the ball, and it was turned over. And he's not too happy about that. So that's the last thing you want. When you concede an easy layup up one end, then turn the ball over at the other end, that's like easy points just being given away, just being shipped off. And they haven't really had to work for it. The kick out to Reid in the corner for three. He doesn't even, like, jump. And he scores the three in the corner, and it's down to 2. So, just like that, lead down to 2 after we had a very nice lead going into the second quarter. So, the first 5 of the quarter to Minnesota. It's Cam Thomas now, who will drive at McLaughlin. He shoots the mid-range. Bro, he's getting face guarded. I don't know why he shoots the pull-up mid-range as opposed to driving it. He had a 6-foot guard on him. It's Alexander Walker to Towns. He's got Dennis on him, and that is just going to be exploited every day of the week. Every day of the week. 7-0 run in the first minute of this second quarter. Thomas into the paint. I'm not liking the shot selection. We haven't tested the interior. What? How was that a travel? Or double dribble? I thought Lonnie let the pass off before he landed, but apparently the refs saw differently. So already, we've had the same amount of turnovers in 1.5 minutes as we did the entire first quarter. So we're not really doing ourselves any good here. Towns down the middle. That is too easy again. Clax, how many times are you going to be bossed around? And it's a 9-0 run to start the second quarter, and JV is forced into a timeout. So 33-31 the score. I'm just not liking the shot selection early. I did like the Lonnie Walker drive that we saw in the previous possession. It's a shame that he got pinged for a double dribble because Cam Thomas was open for a corner 3. So, yeah, that is... I mean, that's what we need to do more of. Enough of these bullshit three-pointers that I keep witnessing, or even the mid-range. We, for some reason, opt for a mid-range when there is a layup staring at you. You have a disadvantage, or like you have an advantage. The opposition has a disadvantage, a clear disadvantage, and you just don't even test it. And that is one of the most frustrating things. So, the Timberwolves in front. There's not really much to talk about in terms of how this second quarter has gone thus far, because I just simply need to say we've turned the ball over and we haven't actually attempted a shot in this second quarter. So, yeah, that is the situation. I think it's a shame we can't have Dorian Finney-Smith and Claxton on at the same time, because I think this is a game. They're playing 2 centers, basically. They're playing Naz Reid or Cat at the 4. It doesn't really matter. We have O'Neal at the 4, and they're spacing. They're spacing the floor, which means that Clax is isolated with Cat, and Karl Anthony Towns is far more physically built, you know, and we just, like, Clax needs help on the interior. It's as simple as that. So, all right. So we return from the timeout. No changes personnel-wise out of that timeout. Dennis, his dribble is disrupted. Claxton, the handoff to Walker. Can we please drive it, man? That is knocked away. They read that pass, and now with 4 to shoot, O'Neal's going to have to put up a 3 off the dribble, and he airballs it, and Claxton runs out of time. That is just pathetic. Out of a timeout, that is what you do. 24 seconds out of a timeout, you had to execute a play, and you can't even get a fucking shot up. Or you got Royce O'Neal shooting off the dribble threes from up above the break. That is an abysmal possession out the timeout. Karl Anthony Towns definitely travelled there, so a good stop by Clax. Good little fight back there because he's been dominated early in the second quarter. And so the Nets will have an opportunity to tie or take the lead. Early in this second quarter, they led by 7 at the first change. Claxton to Thomas. He will try to initiate the contact. He does, and it will be 2 shots, and Alexander Walker will pick it up. So I need to see Cam Thomas try to initiate more contact, use those pump fakes to his advantage. And look, I think we need a little bit more size. We need to go deeper into the bench, seriously, because I think if you can only run against Minnesota, if they've got 2 centers, I don't think you can run a 3-guard lineup with DSJ, Cam, and Lonnie. I think you either have to play Cam and Lonnie, or you have to play Cam and DSJ. And then you've got to look for a Wilson or a Watford just to add a little bit more physicality, a little bit more height. Because you run some real risk with the lineup you're running at the moment. I just think it's too small. McLaughlin lost his footing, but was able to shovel it to Reed. Well defended by Clax. He blocked it. Somehow Minnesota still have it. A 3 is off, and that's off. Get the rebound. O'Neal does. Cam Thomas is open on the far side. He gets it. He doesn't shoot the 3. He gets into the paint. The lob. Claxton. How did he not get fouled on that possession for it to miss that badly? And now Anderson into the paint. He got rid. Oh, that's an excellent layup by Towns, falling to the floor. And that's just well worked. Quick ball movement. They capitalize. And now O'Neal to Dennis. And now the screen. The roller is Claxton, but they glue to him. Thomas thought about the 3, shot the 3, missed it badly. And it's off O'Neal's foot, definitely. And it will go the other way to Minnesota. So I'm hating these 3-pointers, bro. You just see that we have more success on the interior. And we have the players capable of scoring at the rim. I just don't know why. We've got DSJ and Lonnie on the floor. Athleticism personified. And we just continue to chuck up these 3-pointers, which are just not maximizing anything with this team. I would expect Karl Anthony Towns to go to the bench because Gobert's getting ready to check in. And Cat has played the entire 16-minute game. Anderson out to Conley, picked up by Dennis. And now he will not shoot. Oh, well, he will shoot. And that was basically an air ball. It was a rim grazer. Thomas will get by half court. Gets rid of McLaughlin. The one-handed floater is good. Granted, I don't know how you do it with 2 hands. It's 35 apiece. 8 minutes to play. Second quarter. O'Neal picks up Conley in the corner. Read out to Anderson. He'll drive, hang, and somehow Claxton wasn't able to get a block. You just feel with that help side defense that Clax provides, and with Anderson moving so slowly, surely Clax is going to get like 5 blocks this game, but he wasn't able to get his hand to that one. It was nicely angled high off the window, and now Walker will step back, shoot over Anderson, miss. O'Neal with the board, kick it out to Thomas, who is wide open for 3. Yes! And the lead is back in our hands. It is a 1-point lead. 7 minutes to play. Naz Reid's going to back down O'Neal. And he fell over. Where is the foul, bro? Oh, that is absolutely bullshit. Bro, he fell over. He fell over, man. What is that, mate? That is just... The chair got taken out from underneath. And you reward that shit. Absolute bullcrap. What a joke. What an absolute joke. And with that bullshit foul call, we see change. Mikal is back in at the 7:14 mark, so he usually returns at about the 5 or so minute mark. Naz Reid into the paint. He missed the layup. O'Neal with good defense. And O'Neal is able to draw it. He saw Naz Reid basically on his back shoulder. And O'Neal just had to stop. And Naz Reid ran straight into his back. So it is going to be Nets on the side with 7:05 to play. So inbounded to Finney-Smith, who's returned. Thomas, step back two, created the separation and scored. And it is back to a 3-point lead for the Nets. So after the Timberwolves started the second quarter really well, the Nets have fought back well. Reid high off the window, that's off. They chase up the board, it was back tapped. Gobert, McLaughlin, swing to Conley. The three is well short, and the rebound by Cam Thomas. So Cam is getting a few rebounds here. Getting an extended run. He shoots another three. I reckon his toe was on the line, though. And a rebound by Gobert was knocked away by O'Neal, but straight to Reid. And now the Timberwolves can tie or take the lead. Conley, high screen, the switch. McLaughlin to the corner for McDaniels. He shoots over DSJ and hits. And that's a bit lucky. I don't know how good of a three-point shooter he is, but that didn't look too convincing on the release, and yet it still went down. Dennis to O'Neal, the response, you just knew as soon as he shot it, it was off. I don't think we can play... Oh my god, Cam, what are you doing? So lucky to not commit a foul. He was just ball watching. Completely asleep. O'Neal in transition, the three. That is off as well. Those two are killing us, man. O'Neal and Finney-Smith. When on earth is the lid going to come off that rim? Our three-point percentage is so skewed by the fact that those two cannot shoot or score a three right now. We're 4 of 13 from 3. We were 4 of 7, I believe, earlier in the game. Or 3 of 7. So Cam Johnson is back in. Dennis and... Wait, so Dennis has gone to the bench. Cam Thomas has gone to the bench. O'Neal has gone to the bench. Johnson is in. Lonnie Walker's back in, and so is Dinwiddie. So we're playing a small ball lineup with Gobert and Naz Reid in the game. I really cannot understand how that is an advantage to us in any way, shape, or form. A nice hit by McDaniels in the mid-range. Bro, the whole point of playing small ball is knowing your small ball 5 can hit threes. Our small ball 5 cannot hit a three. Dinwiddie goes downhill. What a pass on the wraparound, and Walker can't hit the three. That is a superb pass by Spencer Dinwiddie. And I don't think that'll be given enough credit because the miss. Edwards, the Euro, he hangs, and he somehow shoveled that one up and in. I have no idea how he got that one to go. But that is classy. Walker in a switch, drives on Gobert. That's blocked as well. You just know with that wingspan, it's game over. McDaniels, Naz Reid, transition dunk. You have to call a timeout. You have to call a timeout. Why are you not calling a timeout, JV? 9-0 run. Got to get Clax back in, man. Bridges nearly fell out of bounds. He just threw it away. Trapped on the baseline. Easy layup for Edwards. He was fouled by Walker, and I'm actually surprised he didn't convert that shit. There needs to be a timeout called, bro. You cannot let this continue to run. So, Minnesota, I wouldn't say this is a bad ending to the quarter by the Nets. I would just say that this is a very good ending by Minnesota. They've gotten the stops. They've gotten the right rotation in. Walker goes back to the bench. I would hope for Claxton because we need size. And he is back in. He needs to be back in. And he converts the free throw. So Lead up to 8 for Minnesota. That is a game high for them. It is on the back of an 11-0 run. About 2 minutes ago, we were leading, and now all of a sudden, we are trailing by a very sizable amount. Dinwiddie to Claxton, looking for Bridges on the handoff. Screen used. Bridges, can we please do something? We've got 3 to shoot, and Dinwiddie has got the ball 5 feet behind the line. What the fuck was that possession again? Call a damn timeout, bro. You can't let this shit run every single time, bro. 11-0 run, and we've got 0.4 to shoot. It's just not happening. Throws up an air ball. It's so shit. It is so depressingly shit. I just don't understand. We've had 6 turnovers in the quarter, and not once. Well, maybe once. But once is not enough when you have 6 turnovers. Once we have tried to calm the team down. Edwards the drive. Oh my god, another foul, bro. We don't do this nearly enough either. I don't know if that's credit to Minnesota and their defense or what, but why now can we just not score the ball? That Lakers game and maybe the Clippers game aside, we just can't score the ball. Edwards hasn't even been that good. I mean, he's had 8 shots. He scored 11 points. It hasn't been an explosive first half by him, by his standards. He's played very passively, and yet they still lead by 9. And this is just typical. Claxton fucking going missing in the second quarter. Like, he had such a great first quarter, and all of a sudden we don't give him any paint touches at all. Edwards is off. Oh my god, that has to go the other way, and thank god. Edwards missed the second free throw, and I thought for a moment there Gobert was going to get the offensive board and absolutely jam it on the head of Finney Smith, but we get let off there. So, Dinwiddie. We just need offense, bro. I don't know why JV wouldn't call a timeout at the end of the quarter just to iron down a few sets. Here's Claxton in the post, and there you go. I just told you. We have not given Clax any paint touches. The minute we do, he scores over Gobert with the left hand. I really don't know why we haven't utilized that often enough. That is a foul, and it is a dumbass foul by Spencer Dinwiddie. Bailout yet again. 2 free throws for Minnesota. And that's where they've gotten a bulk of their points in this second quarter. They've been in the bonus for quite some time, and they've punished. I mean, they've attacked the paint. It is that simple. I guarantee you, if the Nets had like the advantage of being in the bonus with 7 minutes left, they wouldn't even bother testing the paint. They'd keep shooting these fucking bullshit mid-ranges and 3-pointers, which don't hold the defense accountable whatsoever. I will look at the chat at the end of the half, where we do the box score, the roundup of the first half, basically the whole shebang. It is a 9-point lead for Minnesota, and we've got 3 minutes to play in this first half. That has to be a foul. Bro, Dinwiddie getting held on the arm. You called that foul the other way. Bridges got held as well, and that wasn't a foul. So another bullshit shot getting thrown up, and now Minnesota can get this lead in double digits. Edwards, Conley, kick out to McDaniels. Don't ask me how that wasn't a steal. Towns down the middle, extra feed. That is off hands, and it will be Minnesota ball with 2:38 to play. Look at that. They've called a timeout, Minnesota, and they've just gone on a 13-2 run or whatever. Bro, they've actually bailed us out there because we needed a timeout, and I honestly, if I was the opposition, I just wouldn't call one, because you wait for JV to make the move, because, I mean, it's pretty clear, like, this team is in a little bit of a rut at the moment. I will say that for sure. DFS, keep or trade. I don't even know what his value is right now, so couldn't really give you an answer. What is the score now? I can't watch. It's all there. Bro's saving the timeout for next game. With yeah, I think JV's got like a you know those royalty programs where you're able to save points and get rewards? Like, just if you save like 500 credits, you get like a fucking, I don't know. Supermarkets do that shit and they give you like a chopping board for 500 credits. It really feels like JV needs to save every time out so he can get that chopping board, so he can redeem it at the supermarket. Because, bro, I don't know what he's saving these fucking timeouts for. Does he want the lead to get out to 15 before he calls the timeout? We got to trade Dinwiddie. He's just not aggressive enough and confident. That's why I do not understand why we don't play Watford at the 1. Like, you add size, he can shoot the 3. He actually looks a bit more convincing on 3s. His shot selection is better. He won't shoot a 3 unless it is open. And he is very assured with the basketball, it feels, most of the time. He gets into the paint, he shoots the shots that are high percentage for him. I just cannot wrap my head around it. And for that matter as well, where is Jalen Wilson? He is 22. He's ready-made. He can shoot the ball. And, like, when we played Milwaukee and he had that 20-point double-double, bro, he had 12 free throws, I think. Royce O'Neal could not even think about getting 12 free throws. He's just not. He probably has 12 free throws on the season. Royce O'Neal. I don't understand when things clearly don't work, you run the same group. When you have players that are capable as the 12th and 13th men in the rotation. Another fucking floater by Gobert. I don't know if that's just a common thing that he does, but he's done it twice in this game where he scored from about 10 to 15 feet with the right hand. And the Bucks, I was just talking about the Bucks. The Timberwolves are up. Finney Smith finally scores a 3-pointer to get it down to 8. But before that bucket, it was a 16-2 run. Minnesota are shooting 61% in the quarter. We are shooting 29%. How has that gone in? Anthony Edwards somehow got the roll off the rim. It looked like it was going out. At the last 7, it decides to go down. Dinwiddie is fouled and he banks it in, +1. And Anthony Edwards is having a dialogue with the officials. I'm not really sure why. So Spencer at the free throw line. I think that's actually his first bucket of the game. And the free throw is converted. I will look at the chat messages at the half. So if you have any questions about how the first half has gone, how the first half has gone, any plays that you need to see improve in the second half, any plays you want to see that haven't been used yet, say it all in the chat. Don't be afraid. Towns is going to back down Dinwiddie. Claxton came over with the help defense, but every single time, that separation between Gobert and Cat is too much. The rollover by Claxton is too late because he's too far away. And ultimately, Minnesota are capitalizing. What is Mikal doing, bro? What is he doing? He's just sitting in the mid-range. He's not putting up a shot. He passes it to Clax, who's further away from the basket. And has less weaponry on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't get it. That is just so poor by Mikal. He should have been shooting a layup. That one sat on the rim. That is a terrible pass by Cam Johnson. And Anthony Edwards nearly read it. Very, very lucky to still have the basketball with 48 seconds left in this opening half. It is 57-48. if you are enjoying the stream as much as you may not be enjoying the current result of the game, make sure to drop a like and subscribe as well. We'll be back for Nets Houston in a couple of days. And hopefully, if this isn't a win, that will be. Dinwiddie, the kick out. That's a great driving kick. Bridges has to hit those, bro. You were 7 of 10 the other day, and you can't hit a wide open 3 with like 5 to 10 feet of space. We can we can bag Spencer Dinwiddie all we want, but he has been doing a good job of driving and kicking it out nearly every time he drives it. Edwards, I swear he took an extra step. Conley's open for 3, and there is the fucking difference. There is the difference. On one side, you have your supposed number 1 who can't hit a wide open 3. And then on the other side, you've got your role player who has a wide open 3 and can't hit. It's that simple. Like, there's really no way to sugarcoat it. If you can't hit your shots, what hope is there? And look, that isn't even a coaching issue. That is a genuine player issue. We can bag JV all we want, and I will 100% say that a lot of what's happened is JV's fault. But I don't care who is on the court. I don't care how good they are, how many minutes they've played. If you're playing on an NBA court, those are practice shots. At shoot-around, you hit 50 of those in a row. Maybe not 50. But you hit a good amount of those in a row. For your supposed leader on the court to have that open shot and not be able to hit the 3, that is diabolical. And then to go up the other end and it results in a 6-point swing, that's even worse. We could have been going into halftime, potentially down 6. Instead, we trail by double that amount. So that's where we sit. Minnesota scored 36 points in that quarter. We scored a grand total of 17. So, you know what? I'm actually happy this happened because, well, have we had the fourth quarter collapse in the second quarter? Which means that quarter's behind us, and now all we're going to see is good basketball in the second half. That's the only silver lining I can extract, because we got outscored by 19 points in that quarter. Another downfall. You look at Minnesota, they're shooting it incredibly well again, and we only forced 1 turnover. Edwards had 14 in the half. He got to the free throw line a bit more in that quarter. They had 10 free throws total. Karl Anthony Towns is very efficient and can't miss. And that is really the situation. McDaniels has scored 7, good defense. Team high, equal team high, plus minus. Gobert's been really important with a couple of blocks and a steal. He's hit a couple shots from the field where, quite frankly, I didn't think he was going to hit him from that position. They've both been shots outside the paint. So that's something I couldn't foresee going in. They've had 15 dimes already, so they are moving the ball exquisitely for the Nets. I mean, it's that simple, bro. It is that simple. You shoot 18 threes, you hit 5. You have the same amount of free throws. We know all too well that if you can't shoot the 3 well, you're going to lose the game. But we also know all too well that if you don't shoot the 3 well, you should be trying to bail yourself out on the interior. You should be trying to make your life easier. Instead, we make our life more difficult. 5 free throws in the half, man. Mikal Bridges, bro, scored 36 last game. He had 7 threes. That is his career high. This game, he backs it up with an exquisite 2 of 10 shooting performance. 7 points. Man didn't score a field goal in that quarter. I do not know why. We do not give Clax the ball more. Why did he only take 2 shots? But look, it does start with Mikal. If he's going to play the most, well, he didn't play the most minutes, but if he's going to play nearly 18 minutes of first half action, he cannot be going into the mid-range and playing as passively as he is. If he's going to get to his spot, He needs to put it up with no hesitation, or he needs to pass it. He needs to make up his mind, or he needs to drive it all the way to the rim. Stop shooting the bullshit mid-range. It is not working. And sometimes he just sits in the in-between. He doesn't really know what he's doing. Then he throws it away. It is so easy to read as a defensive unit. Cam Thomas has 13 points. I could not tell you he scored 13 points, but here we are. He's got 13 points, and he's only played 12 minutes. Get the guy to start the second half. For God's sake, play him. Play him, man. We need offense. We've scored 48 points again. Yes, he is not playing great defensively. When did Jalen Wilson check in for 24 seconds? I do not recall that. I actually think Jalen Wilson needs to play the second half. What are your thoughts? I need to know, who do you want to see in the second half that hasn't played yet? What is the key to the game? Is it a JV? Is this first half JV's fault? Or is it the players? I actually think it's more of a player issue. But I do think it's JV's fault for letting the run happen for so long. And also, excuse me, for letting players like Cam Thomas only play 12 minutes. Not getting Clax enough touches. Not deterring our players from shooting the mid-range. I don't understand this. You know what? We can look at the shot chart. Look at this. How many of these bullshit mid-ranges do we keep on taking, bro? Deep two. Deep two. Or mid-range. 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 How many misses are by Mikal Bridges? How many misses, bro? And you know what the even more, like the far more worrying thing is that these 3-pointers that we've taken, when we were winning games, and we actually have maintained this good efficiency even in the losing streak, probably because we haven't been taking them too much. Corner threes. Look at this. No corner threes. Defenses have now emphasized getting Nets players to shoot from above the break. And you're seeing the results. We cannot hit a three from above the break. There have been no corner threes at all. Except maybe one if you could count this one by Mikal in the corner at the end of the second quarter. It's like that 3-pointer as well by Mikal couldn't have been any more wide open, so he probably hits that on a good day, but in games like this, you need to look and use your brain. Use your brain. I don't care if Gobert is on the interior. I don't care if Karl Anthony Towns is on the interior. This would be so helpful if Dorian Finney-Smith could hit his threes at the moment. Granted, he has hit 2 of his 3 threes. Dorian Finney-Smith needs to hit those threes because you've got to get those twin towers outside of the paint. So then we can attack the interior a bit more. I feel like we're deterred from that. But that being said, we're not hunting it enough. We're really not. Things will open up if we start hunting it. We're just not. Cam Thomas is a -1 in 12 minutes. Please tell me why he is not in the game. Spencer Dinwiddie has played 11 minutes. So basically, if there hasn't been Spencer Dinwiddie minutes, there has been Cam Thomas minutes. Look, I actually think Spencer Dinwiddie playing 12 minutes is probably... Do I think he should have played less? Probably. I think he should be playing minutes more on the scope of Lonnie Walker's. I was about to say Kyle Walker, who is a fucking Manchester City soccer player. Yeah. Cam Johnson shooting 2 shots. That is just... I don't think that's good enough either. Like, I just don't think we're working with the shot profile that our players are capable of doing. Spencer Dinwiddie did a beautiful wraparound pass. Lonnie Walker was open, couldn't hit it. Nets fans, you know, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Calling this crap week after week must be excruciating. Well, you know what? That is why I took the week off. I mean, granted, I couldn't do it anyway. It wasn't, well, it was a choice, but it wasn't like I had the opportunity to do it and I didn't. I am very happy I've taken the week off because I have been able to watch 4 games of basketball fully letting it out. Because obviously on here, I don't want to fully let it out because I've sort of got to try keep it as impartial as possible. But that being said, like, yeah, now I feel refreshed, and I also feel like I've accepted the fact that this team is not good. And so now I just rock up with lower expectations. The problem is this team plays well in spurts. They fucking tease you, and then they dish up a shit quarter, and it completely throws the 3 other good quarters of effort in the bin. It's so demoralizing, man. They're making my decision to give up my league pass a great one. Well, if it's any consolation, if it's any consolation, right? League pass, as long as you don't have the one team pass, you can watch some good basketball from the other 29 teams in the league. So go watch Indiana. Go watch, I don't know. Go watch OKC. Go watch Denver. There's so many good teams you can watch. And here we are watching one of the worst in the league in the last month and a half. I just cannot wrap my head around. If Cam Thomas doesn't start this second half, I don't know what to say. He has scored a third of our points. A third of our points, and he has played half the game. Half. Players that are accounting for a third of your points need to be playing nearly the entire half. It is that simple. There is no sugarcoating it. There is no 2 ways about it. That's the problem with Dinwiddie. Stop passing the ball. You have to be selfish sometimes. He'd be having high percentage shots, but will throw the ball to someone with a more difficult shot. That's what Mikal did late in the second quarter when he had an open mid-range. He had his defender on the back shoulder, and for some reason, he's passed it. Even if Gobert contests it, Claxton surely is there for the offensive rebound and the putback because Gobert's committed. I just can't wrap my head around that shit. It's got me in all sorts. I mean, it is so crazy how we have these quarters, man. These are the shooting splits, by the way. You can see the vast disparity in the first quarter. It was far more even. It goes to show that, look, Minnesota have got the right profile of shots. You can see they've taken less threes than us because they've taken the threes that have been given to them, right? The free throw number is higher. They've gotten more free throws. They've gotten more points out of that avenue. That is what we need to be doing in the second half because these threes are not working. You cannot continue to shoot 28% and say, look, I guarantee JV at halftime has said some bullshit along the lines of the threes will fall, keep putting them up. But I don't want to see this team shoot 43s when this game is all said and done because I don't think we're converting more than 10 of them. If we're lucky, maybe 12 or 13. And even then, that would be good enough for maybe a 31% split. I'm actually going to do the math right now. Calculator. All right. So if we were to shoot 12 of 40 by the game's end, we are right now 5 of 18. So 7 of 22, that is actually less than... That's less than like 33%. 12 of 40 is 30%. Bro, we ain't winning a game. We have to... In order for us to win, we probably have to take... I actually think we need to take about 15 threes and make 7 of them. in the second half. I would much rather a lower volume with the high percentage made than trying to shoot 25 in order to get 10. It's like there's so many other ways this team can play. We have the players to do it. We don't do it. If I dumb it down that much, it sounds stupid, but it is legitimately what we keep witnessing. We've got 24 minutes of action left. Is this team going to turn it around when they're chasing the game? I have no idea. Is there going to be a little bit more urgency? Is there going to be a tactical change? I don't know. But, bro, we can't keep doing this. We can't. We need to make a change, bro. And it only gets tougher. Houston, Utah, Phoenix, Philly. And as much as we can say that Ben Simmons will save us in some respects, these players don't look like making an open shot at the moment. And if you're banking on Ben Simmons to make the difference, wow. What has this franchise come to then? So, I think the thing that's really hurting us is the hesitation, the lack of conviction in what we're doing. And that screams a team without any form of confidence. The lack of conviction. So, I mean, I get that's really tough to do when you've won 4 of your last 20, but we need to see some conviction with this team. And we've started the second half with Dinwiddie starting. I cannot be fucked every single time. That is a really tough shot by Conley, high off the glass in the mid-range. But, bro, why do you keep doing this shit every single game? Cam Thomas is not going to close this. Hypothetically, if this game is close, Cam Thomas will not end up closing this game. Mark my words, because he didn't start the second half. And the way the minutes are usually staggered, Cam Thomas will miss a large portion of the fourth. A turnover already for the Nets in this second quarter. That was what they did so well in the first. Looked after the basketball. They had 6 turnovers in the second quarter and already had 1 in the third. Towns muscled his way to the basket and wasn't able to score off the rim. So the Nets will look to score. Bridges 3, top of the key. That's off as well. Why do we keep shooting him? Why? Gobert missed the layup, and then it went off Gobert's foot, who was unsuspecting that the basketball was right next to his feet. So, couple of misses at the rim for the Minnesota Bigs, but when we're turning it over and chucking up 3-pointers again and again and again, this game is not going to turn around in our favor. It's just not, man. It's just not happening. CT keeps the game tied 40-all, gets benched. Now we're down 12. It's crazy. I actually didn't pay attention to that, but good observation you make. Good observation you make. Look, it is one thing to say that it is the players' fault because they are on the court and it is their responsibility to hit the open shots. But that being said, JV's got to get the shot profile right. He's got to tell these players to get the balance right. He's got to tell them what shots are we looking for. Like, that is just... it's just unacceptable. So... and he's also got to make the personnel changes to not reward the players that keep making the fucking mistakes. You can't reward mediocrity. That is what we're doing. Rewarding mediocrity. Look, I actually don't see these as watch parties anymore where I'm actually doing the play-by-play. I see it as just the time to vent and use it as therapy. If you have anything that you are irate about with this damn team, make it clear in the chat because we have plenty of shit we can talk about. Cat scores with the spin move. And that was a smooth move. And it's up to 16. We still haven't scored in the quarter. Clax the handoff to Johnson. We get into the paint. We shoot the layup. That just has to be a foul, bro. That just has to be a foul. You can't tell me there was no contact on that layup by Gobert. Gobert actually wanted the call going his way, but there's no ruthlessness. Oh, that is too easy as well. Just went under the screen, a wide open three. I actually refuse to believe we were up 7 at quarter time. A 24-point swing. Bridges into the paint. Picks up his dribble. I thought he traveled. Finney Smith. Dunk. And we don't see that enough. And when it does happen, it's far too late. 15-point lead for Minnesota. Edwards. High screen. Switch. Edwards is going to try shake and bake on Claxton. The pass to Conley. And now Conley is picked up by Clax. Another switch. Towns has got 3 to shoot. Gonna drive. And he didn't get it up. Thank fuck he wasn't fouled. I thought he was fouled. And my heart sank for a brief moment. There was definitely contact on that layup. I can tell you right now. Like, Bridges is fucking pushing him, and he slapped the shit out of Cat's arm. So there was definitely a foul there. Johnson, that's knocked away. Bridges was open. However, McDaniels was in the passing lane, so we've got 16 to shoot, 8:49 to play, 15-point lead. If the Nets are to have any chance of winning this game, they have to go back to basics, man. Bridges, Finney Smith, 3. Oh my god, didn't even hit the rim. God. Edwards, the drive, the mid-range, that is so good. Off the window. That's the second time they've done that. Johnson in the corner, behind the back, pass to Claxton, and he scores with the left hand. But Johnson had the open look as well, and he passed it. Edwards. Pass to Towns. And he traveled. Clax is an interesting watch with Clax. He is 7 of 8 from the field. We need to keep feeding him, honestly. He's actually done a really good job of scoring over Gobert, who is well renowned as a shot blocker. He's actually done really well with those floaters, man. Bridges shoots a mid-range, and he hits that time. When Bridges is scoring the mid-range like that, it's a little bit better because he's not hesitating. I go back to that word, conviction. Have conviction with what you're doing. Towns, Finney Smith try to go for the steal. Great wraparound, and Clax was completely unsuspecting that pass had been unleashed. Bridges, Finney Smith to Dinwiddie. Bridges, the drive, gets through. Why did he pass it? He had an open look. He relocates to the corner, and he scores the 3. And we needed that. I think he needed that. The fans needed that. The players needed that. Everyone needed that. It's down to a dozen. We needed that, but it's down to a dozen, and Edwards responds with a 3. So what the fuck was even the point of me saying that? Jesus Christ! Oh my god, I'm going insane. I'm going insane, bro. Why the hell do I bother? We'll go to the box score. We'll have a cheeky look at the box score. You know what's amazing? We've actually been outscored this quarter. And I couldn't even tell you that we had been outscored this quarter. 14 points to 11 in the quarter. You can see for the Nets, we've gotten 14 from Clax. He is our high man. And that is, well, you look at Minnesota, they just clearly have gotten more output. Even though their bench is lacking a fair bit of substance, their starting lineup has been superb. And it makes sense because, look, their bench has played barely any time. Barely any. You've got nearly every single player playing 20 minutes. We've got a couple of players that haven't even pushed 20 minutes, and then you've got a couple guys on the bench, or I know for sure one guy on the bench who deserves more minutes, that he isn't even close. He doesn't have a sniff. Yeah, that is the situation. We're down 15. Anthony Edwards has been on a tear to start this second half, and Karl Anthony Towns is shooting it as efficiently as ever. They are shooting it efficiently as ever. They haven't had a free throw, but that don't really matter when you're not forcing turnovers, or you're not conceding turnovers, and you're not missing shots. Generally, full stop. Like no turnovers for like a quarter and a half. It feels like they had like 5 turnovers in the first quarter. And it's pretty evident that while in the first quarter we got the separation because we were getting more possessions on the back of not turning it over ourselves and forcing them. And it happens far too often where we get into good phases where we get the steals, we're able to run in transition, but we just aren't able to sustain it. I don't know if that's systematically an issue, or if it's more a player issue when they can't execute, they're not good enough to. I think they are. I think they're just really low on confidence right now, and everything feels forced and, as I said, not very convincing. Bridges is 4 of 13. Clax just needs more touches, man. He's got the most assists, and he's got the most points. That's from your center, bro. And I've, keep tabs on a potential, well, not potential because it's happened, a podcast episode that will come out soon. I will notify you of it. But I talk about in that podcast episode, is it worth experimenting with Claxton at center, like as a point center? Is it worth trying something completely left field? Because he's pacey and agile. Dinwiddie deep 3, he hits it. Bro, you cannot tell me that was what we drew up out the timeout. It's just so pathetic. I can't even get excited about that because that is just not a good shot. Yet a full 2 minutes, enough for me to do a crap ton of gas bagging about this team and how shit they are, and you couldn't even draw up a good play in that time. I could have written an essay. I basically spoke a full essay in 2 minutes about how this team is shit, and in all that time, you couldn't draw up an adequate play. Johnson for 3, that is off. A rebound for Gobert. Oh my god, where would this team be if we actually had a coach that knew what they were doing? Where are the paint touches for Clax? I don't get it. I guarantee you we will sell this player and he will become a monster on an opposing franchise. I'm fucking telling you right now. He's a damn good player, and we are just misusing the crap out of him. Dinwiddie scores another corner 3. A step back 3, and about time he hits some shots if he's going to compromise the Cam Thomas minutes. Speaking of which, Cam Thomas is at the scorer's table ready to check in. Gobert faked the handoff. Good defense by Clax, and he forced a wayward layup. He's going to push it up himself. Clax, pass to Dinwiddie, down the middle. For some reason, stopped and picked up his dribble. Bridges another 3. Like, I don't... Bro, you can score a layup, Spencer. Stop passing it out. Yet again, lack of conviction. You had a layup, but instead you're in the in-between sort of... You're doing the in-between bullshit where you drive it to about 10 feet away from the basket and then just pass it out. You don't test the defense whatsoever. Johnson nearly fumbled it out of bounds. Finney-Smith needs to do something with it. Claxton's going to shoot a mid-range, and he fucking hits. Bro, pass him the damn ball. Far out. It's down to 9. We've gone on a mini run. I think it's actually an 8-0 burst. Well, not really a burst. It hasn't felt like it. Pass Claxton the goddamn ball. Oh my god. JV is completely out of his depth and is actively making our squad worse. If this team was shit with a good coach, well, I don't think that's humanly possible, because if we had a good coach, we'd be better, full stop. But the players we have would have infinitely better value on the trade market. Every single player we will end up selling, that's if we sell them, because it doesn't look like we have any intention to do it. Any player we sell, 100% will be at least 50% better on the team they get traded to. 100%. I can tell you right now. Clax has been superb today. Defensively, he could have been better, but granted, when you are slim and you're guarding Gobert and Towns, who are both much, much bigger than you in the weight room, got a lot more pounds on them, you need help. It's not going to be as simple as you needing to guard them one-on-one when you have that clear disadvantage. I think, all things considered, Clax has done a really good job of keeping Gobert out of the paint. I think with Karl Anthony Towns, it's been a different story, but going in, I thought Gobert was going to have a far better offensive game, because I remember last year, he was absolutely killing us on switches and such. But on the offensive side, he's been superb. He's only missed one shot. These are the high efficiency games that we need to see from Clax, and I think if we had have seen these sort of games from Clax throughout the losing streak more consistently, then I think it would be a different story with some of the results. But that being said, time and time again, I even said this during the game a couple quarters ago, it's all good and well Claxton starting well or playing a good 3 quarters, but the quarter that we need him to deliver in is when it all matters, the final quarter. It's not going to be good enough at all to experience the complete opposite. So it's a 9-point game. We have outscored them in the quarter, but I think we need to continue on with the run that we have been experiencing in the minutes prior to the timeout, because we've scored the last 8 points, I do believe. Let's see what Minnesota draw up. It is Edwards top of the key. He's got 9 to shoot. Edwards 1-on-1 with Dinwiddie. I hate this matchup. Edwards knocked away. How did it land back with Edwards? He shoots a mid-range. He misses, and we do well on the box out. Numbers collapse, and Cam Thomas has the rebound. He's going to use the O'Neal screen. He gets into the paint. He's got Gobert on him, so he'll bring it back out. I really don't know why Clax has gone to the bench now. Like, I get you need minutes without him, but wow, that's a Finney Smith 3. That's off. If we're going to play this small ball bullshit, Doe needs to hit those. He needs to hold the defense accountable, especially Gobert or Reed, because, I mean, without Finney Smith hitting 3s, you're not really sending those players out to the perimeter. Those guys that are protecting the paint for Minnesota. Edwards moves through, and he blew the layup, and he didn't get the whistle. The Nets need to capitalize with the outnumber. We get it to Thomas, back to Dinwiddie. He's got an open 3. He needs to hit, and he does, and he's hit 3 straight 3s, and he has clawed us back into this game. And it's pretty clear. When Spencer plays well, the team plays significantly better than when he puts up donuts. It's that simple. We're shooting it well in the quarter, 60%. Edwards goes up and gets fouled by Finney Smith, who went vertical, but unfortunately had a fair bit of contact about that closeout. So 2 free throws. We have cut it down to 6, which is manageable going into the last quarter. You can make that up, but we need to be, well, we can't be bailing them out at the free throw line like we did in the second quarter. That's where they got a lot of their points from. So a couple of free throws here to halt our run, stop us in our tracks. When these players first arrived, they were much better because they had come from good coaches with sensible schemes. Look how their form has fallen away. Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I don't think like if any player's outplaying like if any player's playing well, I don't think it's because of the scheme. I think it's just because they're doing it more so on their end. If that makes any sense. Dennis has not gotten any second half minutes, which is why Dinwiddie remains in the game. Thomas the drive and the layup, and he gets it to go off the window, and that's what we need to see. We need to keep seeing that. Don't go for the three, trying to cut it to a single possession. You don't need to do that yet. Go for the sensible shot and slowly work your way back into the game incrementally. Edwards, picked up by O'Neal on the wing. Good move. Made a bit of space. Missed the three. Get the board. It's Cam Thomas with the rebound. And this team has fought back into the contest. Thomas, please drive it. You have Reed on you. Please. He does. Gets into the paint. He's swatted. And was there a foul? There may have been a foul within that. And it is going to be 2 free throws. I think it was on a reach as there was the gather motion. And McDaniels was the guy who committed the foul. So 2 free throws coming up for CT, who has scored in bunches when he has been in the game. That is definitely a foul on the reach. So 2 shots for Cam with just a tick over 2 minutes to play in this third quarter. The contest is tightening up. And the Nets have done well to dig in at the back end of the quarter. We were trailing probably at the halfway point of this quarter by about 15 to 16 points, but Spencer Dinwiddie's in-game form has picked up. The Timberwolves have not scored in 4.5 minutes, and it's been on the back of good defensive work. They've tried to attack the basket, but those haven't been easy scores, and nor have the scores on the outside. Anderson, surely that was a push-off, and he missed the layup as well. Wow, he got his own miss, but he wasn't able to score. Now the Nets, please do not go for a three. Cam, oh my God, he crossed him up and missed the three. It would have been a saucy bucket to get, but I can't help but think that was just the wrong shot, CT. He's got to know the time and place. Edwards in the mid-range, misses again. He has gone cold. He started the quarter incredibly well. He's missed a crap ton of shots recently. Anderson knocked it away. Got the steal. Sent it to the corner. Wide open three for Alexander Walker, and he hits. And I tell you what, Cam Thomas has let us down in the last minute. You got to say it for how it is. We could have easily had the lead by now. But instead, 2 possessions where Cam Thomas has commanded the offense. He's actually fucked it up a little bit and contributed to a pretty shit end to the quarter. Walker to Dinwiddie. Please drive it, bro. What are you doing? Shoots a 3. Bro, that is just pathetic. He didn't even think about a drive. We get a steal, though. We've got to capitalize on this 2-for-1. Thomas, that has to be a foul, and it's a blocking foul. Cam Thomas hit the deck. So did Naz Reid. And with 28.5 left, I believe that's the first foul in the final 2 minutes. So it's going to be... Oh, that definitely... A case definitely could be made for an offensive foul there by Cam Thomas. Bro, that was clearly a foul on Karl Anderson, though, before. Clearly, where they got that transition 3. He's hit him on the leg. Should have been a reach-in foul. So, 9-second difference between shot and game. I just beg you, drive it to the rim. Dinwiddie. Bro, O'Neal got in the way, man. What the fuck is he thinking? O'Neal, hand off to Walker. That was nearly a steal as well. What? Oh my God, bro. What an AIDS end to the second... Or the final 2 minutes, bro. The third quarter, bro. We did so well to get back into the game. And in like 4 possessions, everything just completely undone. Like, Minnesota have had a trash third quarter. Aside from maybe the opening 3 or 4 minutes, they really shouldn't have this sizable of a lead. And this is part of the problem with the team. We don't put teams to the sword enough. We should have capitalized on this. We should actually nearly have the lead going into the final quarter. Edwards with the spin, the mid-range, it's off, and it was actually tipped in, but it was waved off, of course. 3-quarter time is in the books. Well, the third quarter's in the books. It is 3-quarter time, and it is a 7-point lead for Minnesota. I mean, I would have said that we have the momentum going into the final quarter. However, we were only down by 2 or 3. And then Cam Thomas decided, let me turn it over and let me put up a bad shot. Yeah. So, look, there's a time and place for everything. You have to know the time and place to get the right shots up. You are seeing the success we were having getting to our spots. Yes, the three-pointers were going down. But that being said, you've taken your daily quota of threes, calm down, and score a 2. Slowly work your way back in. You only get 1 less point for scoring a layup compared to a three-pointer. It screams high percentage. If you want to get back in the game, find the high percentage shots. It's really that simple. I shouldn't have to explain this shit. It is common sense, bro. We held them to 21 points, and as far as I'm concerned, that should have warranted a much better return in terms of how many points we scored. We only scored 26. So I would have liked for us to push that 31-point mark we got in the first quarter, but you can't always have nice things, can you? We have a quarter to play. This is a big, big final quarter. The Nets... Let's just have a quick look at the box score. Cam Thomas has got 17 points. He scored 4 in the quarter. He's got 6 rebounds, so he's been pretty important on the glass. But the big issue for Cam Thomas today, even though he is playing well on the offensive side, there are just way too many turnovers. We've had 10 in the game, and he's nearly got half of those. We had 11 threes in the quarter and made 4, I think. Started slowly, made a few at the back end of the quarter. We need to see that free throw number get higher, for sure. And then you've got Mikal, who needs to lift the output. He needs to lift the conversion. Flax needs to get more touches, man. He's 8 of 9. He's actually, well, second for scoring. And Spencer Dinwiddie did well in that quarter. I don't think he had a point in the first half. He scored 14 in the quarter. So he's only got the 1 dime, but wow, Cam Thomas does not have 26 rebounds. We need to get Cam Thomas more touches. We also need to see Claxton touches. 100%, man. 100%, dude. It just, like, it needs to happen. So we start this final quarter with DSJ, O'Neal, Walker, Thomas, and Claxton, the 5 on the floor. Cam will drive on Reed, gets through. Foul +1. What? How is that not... The amount of times this season we have had shots waved off when it is a clear continuation. Like, where was the foul there? I don't even think that was a foul. I think they've just taken off 2 points out of... I don't even know. They just fucking hate us. Oh, you're kidding me, bro. Mate, Cam has got to work this shit out, bro. 5 turnovers. That is... So first he's been... Like, this sums us up, bro. We score a layup, but they chalk it off because the foul was beforehand. So it wasn't even an and 1. And then he commits a travel. So this could be a 4 or 5 point swing here. And it really hurts. How has he scored that? Towns falling to the floor, away from the basket, somehow got it to go. Walker out to O'Neal, back to Lonnie. We're down 9. Walker, step back 3, created the space, and that was badly off. If that's the best shot we've got, well, then we're screwed. Lonnie shouldn't be shooting 3-pointers. Towns is open for 3 and he hits. That just sums up the game right there. Miss a 3 on one end, shit shot selection, and then one of their good players does it on the other side. It's just... You just can't make this shit up, man. if you are enjoying the stream, make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe if you are new as well. We'll be back for Nets Houston, regrettably, in a couple of days. So if you want to tune in for that, make sure to subscribe. And there's also a donation button. So if you feel a shrivel of sympathy and no, I'm not guilt tripping you. I'm just saying. I mean, it really feels like this is a job, and I actually need to be financially compensated. I think every Nets fan needs to be financially compensated by the organization for having to put up with this shit for the best part of 6 weeks. It has been the longest 6 weeks, especially after a year ago, watching this team win 18 games in a month. 18, bro. 18. And now we're losing. We're losing 16 of 20, bro. A complete switch. A complete switch up on all the good that was happening about 365 days ago when I was a year younger. I don't deserve this shit. So here we are, though. We continue to rock up, don't we? And as long as we continue to rock up, I mean, we're going to be subjected to the same results, aren't we? So we've got a dozen points to make up in 11 minutes. There is plenty of time left, but it's going to have to start with players like Cam Thomas. If he's going to get the points, or if he's going to be on the court for his offensive output, he needs to stop turning the damn ball over. There's a bit of disconnectedness with the way he's been playing. But, like, things have got to be... Things have just got to be resolved, man. You've just got to... Something's got to click at some point, bro. Wow, the Knicks are up 30 on Denver. I don't know if Jokic is playing or not. I got no idea. The volume's just completely disappeared from the Nets broadcast. Dennis, Lonnie. Oh my god, another travel, bro. Fuck off. 14 net turnovers after we had like 2 in the first quarter. Man, if we could score as many threes as we did make turnovers, fucking hell, we'd have 120 points already. Lachlan, that's a terrible pass. Lonnie Walker had the hand in the way long before the pass was unleashed. O'Neal is an open 3, and he finally knocks one down. It's back down to 9. We needed that shot to go. And still a lot of work to be done. All right. I've got the volume back. Another turnover. I think it was Lonnie Walker who will get the credit. Thomas was fouled going up. It's going to be 2 shots. And that is another thing we don't see enough. On the break, far too often the habit is to just shoot a damn 3-pointer. Unless it is absolutely on, like, if there is a runway presented to you, you know you can take it all the way, you've got to take it all the way. Don't pass open a wide open layup for a 3 that may not go down for a team that is not shooting the 3 well in recent memory. Thomas can cut it to 7. He made the first free throw. It is 86-78, and the first was good. The second is also good. Follows the same fortune as the first. So we are into the really important phase of the game, I think. If it is comforting, as Towns scores yet again over Claxton, I don't know why Clax has found it more difficult to guard Cat than he has Gobert. I really don't know how that works. Dennis just passed up a wide open layup to fling it out to the corner. Just as I say, that's the wrong idea. Thomas misses badly. Didn't even hit the rim. And Minnesota can reinforce this lead once more. It's Anderson picked up by Thomas. The drive. Dennis is there. Nas Reed open three. That's off. Claxton dives to the rim to get the rebound. And now Dennis. Got to attack the basket, man. Dennis gets in. That's... Bro, what? That is knocked off Minnesota. 100%, bro. How are you saying that goes the other way? I think they've overturned it. That was clearly off Cat. That was clearly off him. Thank fuck they changed the call, man. Even Stevie Wonder could work that one out. Dennis, the drive, gets to the cup. The layup is badly off. I like the mindset, honestly. I like the mindset. Even though the shot doesn't go down, I'd rather that than some shit chuck up. Towns, oh my god. Thank God it's going the other way. I think it was a push-off going up by Cat and a turnover for Minnesota. So it's 88-79. The Nets have got to score buckets. And I'm liking that Dennis is trying to attack the rim because I think that's the strongest part of his game. I think it would be foolish to do otherwise. That being said, he's just gone to the bench. Thomas, picked up by Alexander Walker, the switch. Bro, Cam had to pass it to Clax. That is a good move by Mikal. Waited for the defender to jump and then saw the opening. I think it was Towns who had committed to covering Clax that he just allowed a wide open layup. Alexander Walker to Reed, who was in a switch. Claxton guards. Good cut by Anderson. Well closed off by Claxton. And now Alexander Walker, he's got two to shoot. It's a step back three. It's an air ball. Well defended by the Nets. And we can cut it down to a two-possession game. And it's going to require some key stops. Got to get the stop. Got to get the stop, man. We've got to keep getting the stops. And I think, well, the offense is going to really help, you know, us get into that flow state on the defensive side of the ball, man. What is going on? What is Mikal doing in the backcourt? They're trying to do a play call, and it's pretty clear that I don't think we're on the same page. Thomas is getting absolutely smothered by Alexander Walker. It was a good stop. I did like that we found Claxton. Unfortunately, he misdirects, but today he's really been on the ball with that kind of shot, so I can't really complain with the look. Conley on the perimeter. Gobert's back in. Alexander Walker just got right by. That is terrible defense. Cam Johnson, that is absolutely horrible. Horrible. Bridges knocked away, but Johnson can recover. The drive. The pass to Bridges. He knocked it off the leg. Fucking idiot. It's a 3-on-1 fast break. Oh, wow. Was that a... I didn't see if the ball went in. I just saw Cam Johnson's... Well, I just saw where Cam Johnson was. Ooh. Cam Johnson, I think they're going to challenge this. Cam Johnson was the one in a 3-on-1, and he's just gotten completely bowled over by Alexander Walker, who just ran straight into him. I actually think... Well, I think the Nets have challenged this, and the green light is on. Cam Johnson may have committed, well, a big-time play. I criticized the crap out of this guy, and rightfully so, because he's been absolute dog water. But you know what? That play is the kind of play that lifts your team. I don't think we've that is the second time today we have seen someone put their body on the line like that. Dennis did it earlier in the game. I don't know how many charge calls we've had this season, but I can guarantee you it is probably in single figures, and it really indicates how soft we've been, how soft this team is. I'm actually going to do a quick Google search, Chargers NBA. Hustle leaders, here we go. Teams. Traditional stats. Can we see any? Here we go. Hustle stats. Here we go. Charges drawn. So charges drawn this season. So charges drawn. Jalen Brunson has drawn the most charges, I think, clearly. The Nets. Here we go. The Brooklyn Nets, right? And my thoughts fully on display, right? I just told you that we have to be, I reckon we're in single figures for the amount of charges drawn this season. You will not believe this, right? So the number one in charges this season, Golden State Warriors. They have 46. Everyone in the chat, without looking, guess how many charges this team has this season before today. Have a good guess. I want to hear everyone's perspective on this. How many charges do you think this team have drawn this season? Tell me in the chat. Interestingly enough, we really should have made a run in this last quarter. We have only conceded 9 points in 5 minutes. Problem, we've only scored 7. Sound familiar? How many people? All right, 6, 2, 7. Any other guesses? Any other guesses how many charges we've taken this season? The number will shock you. Did we win the call? The call will stand. Yeah, Johnson was still trying to plant the right foot as he moved across. If you are enjoying the stream, make sure to drop a like and subscribe as well. We'll be back for Nets Houston in a couple of days. So yeah, make sure to drop by and witness a win or a loss. More likely going to be a loss. Bro, Mikal he has to stop handling the rock. Off-ball cuts, off the dribble, like handoff shit, I'm fine with. Pull up mid-ranges without hesitation, corner threes. That's all I want to see. Don't want to see Mikal Bridges take control. Bro, that is just another bad pass, bro. But luckily, we somehow swept it up. Claxton chased it up. Cam Thomas into the paint. He's going to pass it to Claxton. Kick out. Johnson's open. Got to hit these. Oh, my God, bro. Bro, you cannot be serious. We're not even in the final 4 minutes yet. Usually, you shit the bed then. Karl Anthony Towns gets hit with an offensive foul. Bro, we are getting opportunity after opportunity. They made one of the free throws at the line a couple possessions ago. Oh my God, there are so many chances. So many chances to cut the deficit down. We've held them to 9 points in half a quarter. Haven't cut into the lead. We're actually getting outscored in the quarter. Thomas, the foul, is able to get the flip. +1, and Alexander Walker's done a really good job of staying with Cam Thomas for quite a few possessions. Forced the turnovers. Done well laterally, but on this possession, he reaches over the shoulder of Cam Thomas and he's able to scoop it up and in. So a free throw to come as well. Cam actually lost the ball going up and somehow managed to get it up and in. Now, before I said, guess how many charges we've taken. Now, we are last in the league. The second worst is 10. As Cam Thomas makes the free throw, we are on 4. In 44 games this season, we have had 4 charges drawn. In this game alone, we've had 1, but the potential for a second. Another steal for the Nets after a wayward pass by Minnesota, and the Nets can cut it a little bit more. Give it to Cam Thomas, man. Give him the rock and let him go to work. The high screen by Clax, two-man game. Cam, why would you pass up a layup? I thought he stood on the sideline. Here he is again. The drive, gets it up, misses, didn't get the rebound. And a timeout by Chris Finch. Missed opportunity, but I like Cam Thomas shooting those layups. I do think there was an opportunity for a reverse there, but I mean, that shot isn't too bad of a shot. It's just painfully annoying that we have held them to single figures scoring-wise. Single figures scoring-wise, and yet we have barely taken advantage. What was I going to say? So, 4 charges drawn. We've had 1 this game, and Cam Johnson also got cleaned up trying to take a charge. There's not been enough of that this season. And I've labeled this team spineless because they have been spineless. Simply put, there's not enough. There is physicality on this team, but there isn't enough tenacity to put your body on the line like that. We have not seen that enough. That sums up how we've been on defense. Very, very soft. Dwayne Wade's in attendance. I know. I don't really know what he's doing there, to be honest. If you are enjoying the stream, make sure to drop a like and subscribe as well if you are new. We'll be back for Nets Houston. This game's not over yet. What was the score? Three-quarter time, it was 81-74, and both teams have scored 10 points in this quarter. So the 5:27 mark, both teams doing well defensively, but I think we've missed an opportunity. I really think we could have gone into the final 5 minutes neck and neck. Conley picked up by Finney-Smith. Edwards is back in with an extended absence on the bench. They try to feed Gobert, and it's going the other way. The amount of offensive fouls that have been given away by Gobert and Cat because they've got the mismatch size-wise, but they're trying to create that separation by pushing an arm back, and it's actually illegal. So the Nets can cut into this deficit and make it a 2-possession game yet again. It feels like I've said the same thing 3 possessions in a row, probably because I have. Cam Thomas is yet again going to handle. I think we need to look for Clax. He's 8 of 10 from the field. I think there's an opportunity there. Here he is. Didn't shoot the mid-range. Thomas, step back 3 is off. Bro, Clax needed to put that up. He had a window of opportunity, and he just passed it up. Minnesota are 4 of 6. They're shooting 67%. Yet they've only scored 10 points because they can't look after the ball. And yet again, they've flung it out of bounds. But that's all good and well if you can get a stop. We just haven't been able to do shit on the offensive side. And yet again, it's showing face in the fourth quarter. We don't have the scheme. Step 1 of the puzzle was playing Cam Thomas, but step 2 was getting the right sets. Here's Bridges. Foul. Got it to go. +1. We're still alive. And with a free throw make, we can cut the deficit to the same margin as we have minutes. 4. 4-point game, 4 minutes, if he can make the free throw. We've had some really tight contests with Minnesota in recent years, going back to when Jimmy Butler was playing. Kyrie Irving had a 50-piece against this mob and we lost at this venue. This one has been far different. It has not been offensively minded. It has been all defense, especially in this second half. Minnesota have been well held. They had 60 at halftime. They've scored 31 points, and yet we still trail. Edwards on the outside. He's going to drive on Claxton. Claxton stays with. Good defense. Turn around. That is tough. It's off. And a rebound. And it's staying on this side. The problem with Clax contesting that shot was that Spencer Dinwiddie was guarding Gobert on the box out, and you need numbers to collapse. As soon as that shot looked like it was going to go up, you needed numbers to collapse. We had Dorian Finney-Smith on the wrong side. And so Minnesota will have an opportunity as we enter the final 4 minutes of the game to get it up to a more comfortable margin. Conley to Towns, the drive. Why is Dinwiddie on him? He lost the ball. That had to be a travel. It's a miss anyway. Dinwiddie holding his own, and we can get it down to a single possession. Bridges, just drive it. Don't shoot this bullshit in the mid-range. He does, and he scores. And I think that was the shot that was open, and he wasn't shooting in the first half. Claxton was able to desert himself from Bridges enough that Gobert couldn't come over and help. It is a one-possession game, and if I'd have heard that in the third quarter from any one of you, I would have called you crazy. Edwards to Towns, what the fuck? Where was the foul, bro? Who pushed him off the ball, you fucking idiot? Oh my god, that is so pathetic. 2.3 seconds to shoot. Karl Anthony Towns put up an air ball, and someone... Oh my god, that is such an absolute brain-busting decision. Why would you push a player off the ball? You idiots! Who did that shit? Minnesota had a use it or lose it timeout. It is 91-89 with 3:10 to play. Minnesota will have the ball after this. Now, you know what I think we just need to do? We need to start having shit second quarters, so then we can do this shit in the final quarter. Only us could hold a team to 31 points and still not have the offensive acumen to have the lead at this stage of the game. Like, if we were even remotely adequate on offense, we would have the lead and probably be in the box seat going into the final few minutes. You know all too well, though, that every time we are in the box seat in the final few minutes, we find a way to choke. I, for some reason, like the position we're in. Minnesota have been out of sorts in this last quarter. Things could change. They have only scored 10 last quarter points. Usually, we are an absolute traffic cone on the defensive side in final quarters, especially when the offense isn't flowing. In this last quarter, the offense has not flowed, but Minnesota have barely had the opportunity to put a shot up. Purely because they keep turning it over, and in really careless ways. Skip pass. Bro, Cam didn't even try to get the steal there, which I think was a mistake. McDaniel surely traveled. Oh my god, that is ridiculous. This is harassing defense by the Nets. Unfortunately, the miss by McDaniels was that bad. It was an air ball that, unfortunately, Karl Anthony Towns was right place, right time, and there was no net that could read the trajectory of that bad miss. And so Minnesota at the free throw line will be able to get it back up to a 2-possession game. But I'm liking the physicality that we're playing with. I think this is the way you're going to win this game. What got you back in the game was this hard-nosed defensive work. And I think if you're going to win this game, you're just going to have to keep doing it for 3 extra minutes, man. You can't let up. Karl Anthony Towns is going for his 26th point. He made the first free throw. He's 11 of 14 from the field, so he's been highly efficient. Misses the free throw. It is a 1-possession game, but I beg you do not get sucked into the trap of thinking you need to tie the game here. Get the highest percentage shot available. Cam Thomas will get it here. He's picked up by Anthony Edwards, who is a very good defender. Oh my god, Finney-Smith, you idiot. Wow. What? We got bailed out. It could have been a turnover. And it's gone from a potential turnover for it to eventually turn into a 3-second call when I'm pretty sure Gobert actually ventured outside of the paint. So we're just going to get a point here from Cam Thomas if he makes it, and he does. So it is a 2-point game, and this game has really tightened up. I'm fearful for my life right now. These are the games where we always choke. So JV has said it's going to get better in these situations. I mean, let's see if this team is indeed better for the experiences that they have faced. Thomas, please do not shoot a 3. He's got Gobert on him. He's trying to shake him off. He shoots a deep 2 instead. He misses, and the rebound for Cat. I just hate that shot. You had Gobert on you. You need to drive, or you need to look for the exploit on a mismatch, man. That is not the shot. I can appreciate it is in Cam Thomas's hands, but it is not in the right area of the court. Cat just muscled his way to the basket, and it's back up to a 2-possession game. So we can't go for those bad shots. Cam Thomas cannot attempt those rubbish. I mean, he usually makes those. Dinwiddie had an open layup, and he passed it away. Bridges, oh, that's a tough shot, and he converts, and it is back down to 2. Oh my God. I mean, my heart was in my throat there because we had a couple chances to get a shot up and we passed them up. But Bridges was good enough to convert in the mid-range. We've got to deny that pass to Towns. Edwards picked up by Finney-Smith. He's trying to shake and bake Finney-Smith. That is tough. 3 is an air ball, and it's a rebound for Spencer. He gets it ahead to Bridges. Oh my God. Don't turn it over. I beg you, don't turn it over. Thomas gets it from Clax. Gets into the paint. There is a foul, and it's going to be 2 shots. 1:11 to play. Gobert is the culprit. And that is more like it, Cam Thomas. You get into the paint, and Gobert, look, I think he didn't do anything wrong there. But look, you don't get the call if you don't put yourself in the position. That mid-range he took the previous possession, you know, you're not going to get free throws off of that. But you will potentially get free throws if you get into the paint, instill a little bit of doubt into the defender's mind, and that's when they'll bite on a pump fake. They'll be a little bit concerned or worried. It is 93-94. We have clawed our way back incrementally as the game has worn on. It hasn't been a burst. It has been very slow and steady, this comeback. Cam Thomas makes both. He has converted every single one of his free throws. The game is all square at 94. Over a 5-minute stretch, we have gone on a 13-3 run. So it has not been one of those explosive runs. Towns thought about the 3. I thought he shifted the feet. Gobert is open for the dunk. Clax is far too asleep on that possession, and it was there, and they were right to capitalize on it. And now the Nets are going to have to, well, find another bucket here. Dinwiddie into the paint. Shoots the mid-range. Oh my God, he didn't get the bounce. Why did he shoot a mid-range, bro? It was open, but why are you shooting? Oh my God, bro. I mean, if they score, this is the game right there. I don't know why Spencer didn't lay it up. Edwards the drive, the pull-up over Claxton. It doesn't get the bounce. He swatted it out of play. And I think, JV, you have to call the timeout. You have to call the timeout, bro. 96-94. There is a 1.3 second difference between shot and game, and JV is going to call a timeout. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness. I cannot be asked with another close game resulting in a loss. We can come back from a 17-point deficit and lose. We can hold a 17-point lead and lose. We hold a lead with like 2 minutes to play. We're up 6. We lose that as well. Bro, that Spencer 2-pointer, bro. He could have just scooped it up. Instead, he shot a one-legged mid-range. Where was the fucking incentive in that? You have Cam Thomas and Bridges on the court, and we went with a Dinwiddie mid-range. So it begs the question, well, you've got a 1.3 second difference between shot and game. How many seconds do you use up? Because if you score, guaranteed Minnesota use one of their timeouts. They use one of their timeouts to advance the ball and then have a final shot. So how many seconds do you want to use up? Because we know all too well when we use up a lot of the clock, we use up all of the clock. And when we use up all of the clock, we require an isolation heavy scorer to bail us out. So do you want to put it down to a Cam Thomas to have to try bail us out with the shot clock expiring? It's a very awkward position to be in because it's not a 2-for-1 sort of scenario. So we place it into the backcourt. Bridges, the screen. He drives on Edwards. The kick out to Clax. Back to Bridges. What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh my god, bro. He's not shuffling Edwards. Edwards stayed with him. Now Thomas. The high screen by Clax. Oh my god, bro. You can just see from a mile away. We don't know what we're doing. You know what? You have to call another timeout. It's not worth saving a timeout, JV, and that's exactly what he does. He uses the final timeout with 7.4 to play in the game. We have 6 seconds to work with. There were numerous occasions we potentially could have fed Clax on the roll. We can score a 2. There is... I mean, we're going to have to watch more basketball, but... like, do I want the game to end now? I think I do, actually. I think we need to go for the win. What would you guys do? If you are enjoying the stream, we are going to be back in a couple of days' time, so if you want to see that one as well, make sure to tune in on Saturday night / Sunday morning if you're in Australia. But we have no timeouts remaining. We have to get the ball in. We have 6 seconds to operate with. If you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like on it as well and subscribe so you don't miss any one of these streams. We're down to every single game we've played. I mean, like, we've held Minnesota to 36 second half points. Every single time we do that, like, we held OKC to like 36. Well, sorry, we held them to 47. There was one game where we held a team to like 40. I think it was Miami, and we weren't good enough to win the game. We've held Minnesota to 36 here. If you can't, like, get a good result out of this game, then where's the hope, man? I think a couple seasons ago, there was a very similar scoreline, and Spencer Dinwiddie hit a clutch shot in the mid-range. He is not on the court, though. Actually, he is. Thomas, Bridges, Dinwiddie, Johnson, O'Neal. Please just get the play right. Who's getting it? Bridges. Spin. Drive. He lost the ball. He got it back. There's a foul! There's a foul on McDaniels with 2.4 seconds remaining. I am not counting my chickens just yet because there is 2.4 seconds. It's almost like Mikal's handle was that bad that McDaniels overcommitted. That would have been in the JV Hall of Fame for shit out of the timeout plays if Mikal threw up another air ball, because it looked like it was going down that path. Bridges, oh my god. He missed the free throw! You can't make this up! You cannot make this up. I can't believe it. Get your rebounders in the game. Get fucking Jalen Wilson in, bro. I can't believe this. Oh my god, bro. I just knew it. I wasn't counting my chickens because this is too clutch for Mikal. This is too clutch. Make clutch free throws? No, that's too difficult, man. So he's going to have to miss intentionally, and Towns and Gobert are boxing out, so good luck. He misses. Oh my god. Oh my God, what? What? No way! We got the board and they've called a foul. We got the board and they called a foul. I need to see where they've called this foul. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's because Mikal fucking ran too early. Oh my God. What a shambolic end, bro. How do you hold a team to 36 points and lose, man? If it's not the first half, it's the second half. How? We actually got the rebound as well. That's the funny thing. You could not write this. You look back on all those sequences where we missed the wide open three, then they go up the other end and score the three. You look at all those sequences and you look at the amount of 6-point swings that went in the Timberwolves' favor or 5-point swings. The game is a hell of a lot different if those little fine margins go your way. But unfortunately, this just continues to happen. No matter what team we throw out there, no matter what combination, no matter what scenario, situation, whatever, it just results in the same shit every single game. Edwards gets it in the backcourt, and that's going to wrap it up. I cannot fucking believe we have lost another game. Bro, why does every single game, like, we held a team to 96 points. When did that last happen? Since Miami. And you know what happened in that game? We lost. Because we scored. Oh my God. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it, dude. You can't make this shit up. In the last quarter, we held Minnesota to a measly 15 points, bro. 15. We held them to... Bro, you couldn't play any better of a defensive performance. You put up 20 points. You look back at the second quarter, we scored 17. Minnesota scored 36. If we even scored remotely close to what we did in the third quarter, in a quarter which it didn't even feel like we were playing that well in the third quarter, we would have won. We would have won. The problem is we just don't know how to fully capitalize. You look at the back end of that third quarter when Cam Thomas lost the ball, put up a bad shot. You look at those moments, you look at the missed threes that led to threes on the other end. So much shit could have gone our way, yet in this losing streak, it just finds a way to not. And look, you can't even... No one can blame now. No one can blame... Well, we can blame JV for the uninspiring out of the timeout plays. But we can't blame him for not playing Cam Thomas. He played him, I think, 17 minutes. He scored 25 points. If only Cam Thomas was shooting the free throws and not Mikal Bridges, we could have had a different result, man. But I think this team did everything they needed to do to win, yet somehow found a way to not win. Yet again, add this to the list of ways we find ways to lose. Because I think in this 21-game stretch where we've lost 17, there has been losses in all shapes and sizes. We've been blown out. We've choked leads. We've had to come back from deficits and have lost. And even when we win, we've smoked teams. We've had a 25-point lead at the half and nearly lost. It's all over the joint. This team is inconsistent as hell. And even when we play well, Mikal Bridges actually, to his credit, he scored 6 of his last 8 shots. But when big moments matter, he did not deliver. He made 3 free throws until those final 2 where he missed both, and then he was late he was early on trying to get the rebound off the free throw miss. And even though we got the basketball, it was chalked off because Mikal went too early. And you know what? I did say this, right? I said, at halftime, I do not want to see this team shoot 43s because we have proven that, volume doesn't necessarily lead to output. We only shot 14 threes in the second half. And I think that's actually a huge reason why we got back into the game, because we were getting the looks that felt more, high percentage. Even though we ended the game, somehow we scored more points in the first half than we did in the second half. I really cannot understand that. And Cam Thomas played more minutes in the second half. Make it make sense. Mikal had a good fight back. Clax needed to get a few more shots up. I do think this was a game where Clax could have scored 10 or 13 or 10 or 11 field goals off, 13 or 14 shots, and we may have also had a different result. He actually had a really good game, 16 points, 11 boards, 4 dimes, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He did everything that we needed in order to even have a chance of winning. This team is significantly better than us, Minnesota, and we played, we played with effort that you can't really fault this team for having. We cannot blame the coach entirely for this, because when it comes down to a guy making free throws, Mikal Bridges had the opportunity to do so. In the second quarter, he had a wide open 3, 5 to 10 meters of space, and couldn't hit it. The other end, Minnesota score a 3. So there you go. Right there, you've got 5 points you potentially left on the table, and then 3 points you conceded because of your ineptitude. It's just like, you cannot make up the amount of ways we have lost. Town scored 27, great efficiency. He was very good, but he had 6 turnovers, and he probably got us back in the game on those grounds. That's the reason we got back in the game. The defense, the work on that side of the ball was exceptional. Minnesota did dig a hole for themselves, but that being said, that's not without the help of the opposition making life difficult for you and instilling a little bit of anxiety. Once you establish to your opposition that nothing's going to come easy, that's when the psychological side of things comes into play. And it was clear that Minnesota looked out of sorts for the majority of the second half as we lifted our intensity defensively. It's just a shame that we have nothing to show for it yet again. Anthony Edwards had a really good... Oh my God, I think he was 8 of 13. I think he missed his last 10 shots, and they still won. Gobert only had 10 points, 13 boards. I thought that could have been a lot higher. McDaniels had 9. He didn't do anything in the second half. And their bench wasn't really that good either. Ultimately, they shoot the ball well, but we evened things out in a lot of ways. The free throw number, what were we, 14 of 16. So we made every single free throw tonight until the final 2. That just sums up our 6-week period in a nutshell right there. And then when you get the offensive rebound off the free throw miss, it gets chalked off. It was like, I think in the third quarter, Cam Thomas scored a layup, but they chalked it off because Naz Reid had fouled before the shot. So we lost 2 points, then missed because Cam Thomas, we didn't even get a shot up because Cam Thomas turned it over, and then Minnesota scored the other way. So yet again, another swing of 5 points. It's all about fine margins, and you look at those little moments in the game where if things just happen to go our way, we win this game. And so that's why I can't be too mad about the fashion in which we lost. These are games where I can say, we lost, I'm disappointed, but I'd rather lose this way than lose in a diabolical manner. We did well to fight back into the game. The resilience was there. The defensive effort was there. The heart was shown. There's been games where that has just been completely gone, and it just disappears and vanishes completely. I think the third quarter cost us more than the second, because the third quarter it felt like we held a very good advantage. Like we dominated that quarter, and yet only had a 5-point advantage to show for it. Going into the final quarter, we were still down 7, and from that point on, we were chasing tail. I think we should have outscored them by 10 more points than we did in that second half. I really think we played that way with all those turnovers we were creating, but it doesn't really matter now, does it? Minnesota did shoot the ball well, but as I've said, we had only 2 extra shots, which is a bit surprising, but I mean, I can imagine it was probably a lot different going into the second half. We got out rebounded by 6. We did have 13 turnovers, and Cam Thomas and Bridges combined for 8 of those. So that is one area that we've looked after for the most part. But of course, in the one game where it feels like we have the upper hand and we're getting these stops, we're compensating for it on the other side, where we force the steal, but then turn it over ourselves. And so the effect of actually getting the stop on one end isn't really felt on the other side. Cam Thomas and Bridges cannot combine for 8 turnovers in a game, especially when your offense is struggling and you're getting stops on the defensive side. You need to be able to move the play, and you need to take advantage of that sort of, well, the way the game goes when turnovers are in abundance. That's the stat lines right there for you. The team comparison quickly. You can see the threes are identical. We had 2 more free throws. Unfortunately, 2 less shots made. And as I've said time and time again, those couple of 3-pointers that we missed, game looks a lot different if we make those. We simply cannot shoot 30% from 3 again, but that is why I'm sort of for the fact that we only took 15 threes in the second half. I did say I wanted us to shoot 6 or 7 threes in the second half, for like on 15 shots, as opposed to shooting 25 and making 9 or 10, because I just think we needed to get the quality of shots right, and I think we did that. But yeah, like, even though we lowered the volume with 3-pointers, it feels like that really hurt us in the first half, to the point where we got outscored by 19 in one quarter, and that was ultimately decisive. Like, outside of that one quarter, we outplayed them. We outscored them by 17. So, what could have been? What could have been? That's going to do it from me. I thank you for tuning back in after me being off for a week. Thank you for tuning in, and for your support, for your chat messages, for everything you've had to say. It's like, I don't know when the win is going to happen. It just feels like the gods are fully against us, because even when there are things we're doing right, in a lot of ways we were doing everything right today, and yet still there was a way for the basketball gods to intervene and just completely strip us of the privilege of winning, because it is a privilege at the moment. We don't know what winning feels like. So we'll be back at it again in 48 hours. I hope you stay safe. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Yeah, stay safe in this period of time. And hopefully the win just happens soon, because I just can't be asked waiting much longer, even though we experienced a win under a week ago. It's just the losses are outweighing the wins, and thus it's making us forget what victory feels like. So we will see you in 48 hours for Nets Houston. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you then. Unfortunately, it's another loss, and we're just going to have to regroup, aren't we? So see you then. Bye for now. Have a good one.